Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stablegen.io tutorial. Today we are going to go over a part of the image editor. Specifically, we're going to go over prompt editing. I'm going to try to keep this like a pretty short, straightforward video. What we have here is we've previously gone over how you create characters and stages and generate these assets for them. So once you have these assets, these are used in creating in the compositing process for building your first and last frames for your AI videos. So there are situations where you may want to do some fine tuning, or the use case that I am going to sort of follow to help us today is when you want to add props or objects in. Now, you could try to just do this, just depend on the frame prompt. And let's say in this example, I have Evan Scott, and he's a retired ex-military guy. And in this story, he lives near a government sort of facility doing secret nefarious studies, and there is this kind of hybrid alien technology monster thing they created that kind of gets out of the lab, and Evan winds up having to handle it to protect his community. So in one of the scenes, there is a night scene outside in the woods where the responder, which is this sort of monster thing, is out there and Evan's looking for it. And Evan is wearing night vision goggles. So that's essentially the problem that I think is a really good example of what we'd be solving with this, with the editor. And specifically today, we'll go over prompt editing. Now you also have in painting, and we'll do that in a separate video, very related. I think in general, prompt editing is 9 times out of 10 the way you want to go. The models are just superior. And in painting, to me, comes in when you really need something in a very specific location, and for whatever reason, you're having trouble sort of just describing it, or, you know, the prompt editors through this workflow are just not getting it. You know, I don't know. Sometimes think of maybe rips in the shirt or drops of blood or something. Like, you could get really detailed in you know, where you exactly want that with in painting. With the prompt editing, you obviously have to do it with language. But in the case of wearing night vision goggles, we can just sort of pull it off. And so the first way I'm going to do it is no reference image, nothing, and just say he is wearing night vision goggles. So you have your choice here. We have Nano Banana Pro, we have the old Nano Banana, and then Seedream 4.5 and 4.0. You will see Nano Banana Pro easily the most expensive. The old Nano Banana, a lot cheaper. Seedream, sort of same thing. So I do think Nano Banana is the superior model, though. So we're going to use that, you know, in this case where we're just asking it to completely create these goggles here. So there we have it. While that is generating, we can open up Editor again and look at a similar thing, but this time let's download this image of night vision goggles. Let's say I want these exact night vision goggles. Then you would want to use a reference image. Again, in this case, I honestly don't care much. I'm no expert on night vision goggles. I actually think probably what Nano Banana will make up will look better. But another reason for this is I can use this reference image and put it on different generated assets. So I can slap it on a close-up, I can slap it on a profile view, you know, all different stuff, and then use that in different frames. So there is a lot of benefit, I think, when you're really trying to get consistency and continuity in a prop or, part of the costume or something like that, I think going off a reference image really helps. So we will bring this in here and say he is wearing the night vision goggles in the reference image. Okay. We look at the parent. This should be done now. All right, so these are the night vision goggles that I created. And they are better. Man, for sure. So if you're good with just like a single image of him of your character or whatever, I think just having Nano Banana just sort of hallucinate its own version, is great. In this situation where I want the consistency because... Hold on a second. Okay. Here we go. Sorry, I got kind of confused there. All right, so now this is using the reference image, and it looks okay. This thing's off to the side, Yeah, I'd say it's pretty solid. Not surprising. I mean, this is kind of well in the wheelhouse of Nano Banana to pull off. And the last thing I want to do was, again, if we're using a reference image, now imagine we've got this scene and the first shot is Evan walking in the woods. We could use that, or if we want to stick with the reference image, where could I put it? Goggles, we could drop, so we use that. Let's say then it cuts to a shot where he hears something. And so we cut to Evan's, close up. So now we can create a new asset with the night vision goggles in this view. And it should help when you're compositing. If you do have a close up, it's making it easier on the model, and your frame that results from it is going to have better detail in your character if you're using this. You're sort of, using these more detailed close-up images. So he is wearing the night vision. So we drop that in there. I think it looks okay. And over there. So there you go. So now you have your two, your close-up and your full body image asset there that you can use in your different scenes. And if you're comfortable with it, again, sometimes it's fine, right? We're always trading kind of like how much time we want to spend on any specific task with how much quality we need in the task. And for AI video generation, you can get a lot better consistency, continuity, stability in your assets by just throwing a whole bunch of time at it. The idea of Stablegen is hopefully that we make it pretty easy and you actually have multiple paths to achieve what you want. So this is one, right? Here's one option. And we, next video, we'll go over in painting. So that is another way to go about potentially doing this. And I said a third way is just to kind of leave it to the prompt for the frame composition prompt. So when you're creating your frames, it's going to have in the description he's wearing night vision goggles. And what you're going to get is probably something like this. It'll actually look good, me and walk in night vision goggles. It'll be great. But then when you go to the next shot, it's going to be a close up and you're going to say it. Well, now the night vision goggles they most likely aren't going to be consistent. Whereas if you just do these up front, then you can use them in each frame when called for. And one last thing, and I don't want to get too much into the frame generation process, but all this stuff is sort of tied together. I guess once I go through all the pieces, maybe I'm going to start to do sort of more higher level walkthrough of like a whole workflow process. But anyway, so, and like different tips and strategies and everything like that. But one other thing is when you are creating your frames in any scene, you can use a different previously generated frame as a reference. So the idea is like, once you create sort of your first frame and you like that, now you sort of established, it's more about like the lighting and the coloring and the look and everything of the whole scene. But theoretically, it may be able to help with consistency with, clothing, props, objects like this. I don't know, I thought a potential strategy for what we're doing right now is instead of downloading the goggles picture, like maybe I just start with this, like, oh, I like this, then go to, this close-up picture and use this and say, oh, he's wearing the same, night vision goggles as in the reference image. But what I found is that it doesn't just keep this pose. It actually basically just returns this image. So, I'm sure you can get around it in the prompt editor, right? You're working with Nano Banana. You could say, hey, make sure you keep this and everything like that. But now you're getting into like a lot of prompt editing, which, the kind of point of, or prompt engineering and experimenting and stuff, kind of the point of Stablegen is to like, hopefully avoid that as much as possible. And I think, the easy way to do it is just, the way that we presented it here. And, just get you a reference image that you like and use that to make whatever, image asset, poses and stuff. And, you should be good to go. One last thing is, with stages, the same, editor basically exists. But there is another tab here for camera movement, and this will be another tutorial. So I'll do a short one on inpainting and then camera movement. Camera movement's quite cool. This is something that I've done a lot of work on this, a lot of testing and research and trial and error. It's pretty complicated. Uses a whole bunch of different steps in the process, and you'll find like trying to do something like orbit a camera 180 degrees. If you just drop that in Nano Banana Pro and an image, it's really not going to work out well. And then you can also do like custom things. That would be like give a close up. Oh, here, this is just an example, but of the desk or, of the computer screen. And so it just allows you to move the camera around a bit. And it does a relatively good job at keeping, some integrity and continuity, stability to, the rest of the stuff here. But that is, that's tutorial, that's the prompt editor. And I've talked a bit about the tokens and everything, and subscriptions and tokens are live. You can sign up today on stablegen.io. You sign up and you get 100 tokens for signing up just to like test out the platform. With that, you can pretty much do anything. You can generate scripts, images. You can get a feel for whatever you're interested in. And then, if you like it, sign up for, one of these different levels. and that determines your tokens. And there are some other additional things about concurrent generation. I'm going to add really soon the ability to buy more token packs like within a month. Just for handling a situation where maybe you are good generally with 1,000 tokens a month, but this particular month you're spending a lot, so you can buy a starter token pack. And that's another thing. If you are a creator, you have access to the creator token pack. Studio, you can get studio token packs, and it's a little bit better pricing, and so it's another bonus of being in the higher tiers there. So yeah, that's it. The next tutorial we'll do in painting, and if you want to reach out, you have any questions, or you want to want to talk to me or ask me any questions, you can find me on Twitter, X, Stablegen_IO. You can always email us at contact@stablegen.io.